Greetings everyone, and welcome back to, I guess, part 2 in the whole barcode scanners mini-series thing that I've started. That the first item wasn't really a barcode scanner, it was more of a thermal printer attached to an Android device. But the thing we're looking at today is definitely a barcode scanner, that is for sure. And we're going to have fun with it, because I've already had a lot of fun with this thing, because it can do things. And it's the thing. So that's a very good intro. Proud of that. So if you haven't seen the previous installment on the Sunmi V2, you can click up there somewhere and there should be a little card thing that'll go boop. And you can see that video if you want, but if you've already seen that video, then I don't have to explain anything. So let's get this video started ASAP. But before I get the video started, as soon as possible, I need to put that there. And I'll just remind everyone that there's timestamps in the description as well as the pinned comments, so you can skip through this whole entire video if you wanted to. If you wanted to just go straight to the teardown, you can do that if you want, but it's up to you. It's fine. I appreciate it if you stick around and watch through the whole thing, but if you want to use the timestamps, that's completely fine. That's why they're there. And also, I'll just address this in every video from now on, but if YouTube automatically adds more ads into the video, feel free to use AdBlock, uBlock, or Revanced, or whatever it is on mobile to block the ads if you need to. Because I know it's quite disruptive to have a 1 hour and something minute video from me that just has ad in it. I only put a minimal amount, but YouTube likes to throw more in there, so those options are there for you if you need to use them. That is completely fine. So today we're going to be looking at the Senter ST908 4-inch rugged PDA Android 5.1 OS barcode scanner PDA IP65 with pistol grip and UHF RFID reader. And currently this is on Alibaba for $195 US. And shipping is $23 US, so that's like $230 US or something like that, which I'd usually display a currency conversion chart, but $230 US is like 400 Australian dollars for this thing. Let me tell you, I did not pay 400 Australian dollars for this thing. It's just, this is the only listing that I found that's current at the moment to just give you an idea of what this unit is currently selling for and what it actually comes with. Now, if you order 300 units, you can have a customized logo and customized packaging as well, which is quite cool. I've just got the stock one, no company info there, so that's all good. Now, the standard package comes with the PDA, a charger, a USB cable, a user manual, a hand belt, which is the back cover with a fake leather belt attached to it, and then you have an optional earphone, just one, Ashton's reference, had to do it. An on-the-go device USB to LAN RJ45 is also optional, a vehicle charger, and a touch pen. So you can configure this thing to have several different things with it. I've said thing a lot within this video, I'm sorry, but the pictures show it's an industrial PDA ST908 4-inch, and as you can see, it has Android, Wi-Fi, GPS, 4G, Bluetooth, and IP65, and you can see it with the RFID reader attached to the top of it. This thing is very modular. As you'll see in this next picture, you can attach a thermal printer to it. Sadly, I don't have a thermal printer for mine, but you could probably ask this seller to send you one, possibly, if anyone has actually used one of these before. But here's another picture of it with the RFID thing attached to it with the pistol grip, and that is what it's called. You know what? I will agree with that name because that is quite appropriate for this. Okay, so that's the pictures in the listing, so I didn't want to spend too long on them, but I wanted to go over the specifications of this unit. So it's running Android 5.1, it's got a Snapdragon 410, which is a quad-core processor at 1.2 GHz. It also has an Adreno 306 GPU. RAM is 2 GB, and storage-wise, we've got 16 GB. Ports are a USB 2 port, which supports on the go for a USB drive, a mouse, or Ethernet, a charging mouth, I'll show you that, a micro SD card up to 128 GB, and one SIM card. It is IP65 certified, as well as drop resistance from 1.2 meters. It's got Bluetooth, GPS, Wi-Fi, 4G, so we've got the bands list on screen just to give you an idea of what it supports. Not a lot of bands supported, but I have tried this on Telstra and it definitely works, so that's all good. The screen is a 4-inch 480 by 800 IPS LCD and thickened tempered glass of 1mm in this thing, and I can tell you that they've definitely used some really thick glass on this unit. It's got a physical keypad, an 8-megapixel rear camera with autofocus and flash, 3.5mm headphone jack, which supports mic, so if you wanted your thing to support mic, then mic is there. Not chef mic though, just mic. We've got a light sensor, gyroscope, compass, and gravity. The battery in this is 3,800 milliamp hours, and the pistol grip handle battery is 5,000 milliamp hours, giving us 8,800 milliamp hours in its barcode using state, which is absolutely nuts for this thing. But it's also a very chunky fella at 168 millimeters by 75 millimeters by 26 millimeters, weighing in at 350 grams without the grip. And here is the data acquisition acquisition, which is optional, which has the laser scanner, barcode scanner, the RFID stuff, all that sort of thing. The thermal printer, which is 58 millimeters, and the pistol grip. See, it is called a pistol grip according to this, with the 5,000 milliamp hour battery inside. And there's also another picture, which just has the bands, the quick specs again, and a whole bunch of optional modules that you can attach to this thing if you were to purchase this and want all those optional things. You can completely do that. That's all the listing and all that I want to go through. And now I can hear the question, S'mores, didn't you show 2 of them in the thumbnail? Yes, I did. 1, 2, 3, and one without the grip. Ta-da! I now have like $1,000 worth of barcode scanners in front of me. And how did I acquire such barcode scanners, you ask? The wonderful world of ewaste. These were in a big box of old crap from a warehouse that closed down, presumably. And I seen these at the top. There was probably more hidden, but I chose these. I said to ewaste guy, how much for these lovely things? And he said $5 each. So there's $5, $10, $15, $20 worth of value here, which is an absolute steal. So now that I have 3 that have complete batteries and pistol grips, and 1 for, well, what I have done in this video, or what I'm gonna do, is do most of the review with 1 unit, but I'm also gonna use one that's been set up in factory reset, and I've also done a drop test on this already. This one is the one I'm gonna be pulling apart during the teardown so we can take a better look at the innards of this thing. Let's go around just one of the units, but I just wanted to do a subtle flex on these sort of things. Now, I don't even know which one's on. Which one's on? It's this one. Can you imagine taking a call on this thing? This is what it would look like. What? No, that's not my problem. No, that's not my problem at all. What are you talking about? No, 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 no. No, it's not because I have a barcode scanner up to the side of my face making a phone call. No, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Nope. Nope. It doesn't. It just feels comfortable. Okay, it doesn't feel comfortable at all. It looks weird. It might be illegal to carry one of these in public and go pew pew. If this was pulled out in public, people would probably think, holy shit, that's that, and run away. Because it does. It looks lethal. But it's not. It's just my barcode scanner. Yeah, I mean, if you're not careful, you could do that. You could also use this in another scenario. Let me demonstrate.
Hey, S'mores, what you doing? Get out of my office. Now. Okay then.
Sometimes the barcode scanner bit works and sometimes it doesn't. I think the app's not open. But anywho, let's have a look around this device. Now, I could just do the whole review with it basically standing up like this and just, you know, poking around with the screen, but I won't. I will take the pistol grip off. Let me just say, straight off the bat, this thing's heavy and it does feel quite solid. With the drop tests that you'll see later on, it is pretty much rock solid. For the sake of easiness, I'm going to remove the grip, which, by the way, I will be tearing this apart because I want to see the battery inside of it. That can just stay over to the side, and we can now properly have a look at this device. Ignore the flashing light, it's already on. So at the front, we have our 4-inch 800 by 480 display, and at the top, you can kind of see the sensors just in there, and yeah, the little notification LED, as well as the earpiece. No front camera, so we're just limited to the back one. We've got the menu, home, and back button on the glass front. Then we have the keys, so we have a power button, a little shortcut button, 2 more shortcut buttons, a numeric keypad, OK, back, and full stop, dot, point, whatever you call them. Then going to the side, you can see how thick this fella is. Here's a AAA battery in comparison, just so you get a rough idea of how thick this thing is. Not like the Unihertz Luna that was thick for no reason. These are thick for a reason because they're meant for industrial use. And if you can kind of see all the dents and stuff around this thing, because it was used quite a lot and has survived being dropped 1,000 times. So thumbs up to you, you big chonk. We have the volume buttons just there, another shortcut key, which is used for barcode functionality. Then around the rugged design, we have these little grooves for the optional modules. And down the bottom, you'll see that there is a little port cover. And if we unscrew said port cover, it reveals where the thermal printer should just plug in right there. Since this is an IP65 certified device, that's why it has all these little doors around it. Now, the charger mouth that it said in the listing is right here, and that should be a 9 volt, I would believe. I've just charged this via USB, but you do have that option. There's probably a dock, actually, that you stick it into and it charges for you. That's probably how that works. That's covered up by its own little thingo. Then around the other side, we have another shortcut key, and then this door, which has the micro USB port, as well as the 3.5mm headphone jack right there. So close that up, because we don't need access to that just yet. Then at the top of the device, we have the barcode scanning stuff, which consists of the laser, the camera, and the light. If you are photosensitive or anything like that to lights, please look away now. But if I was to press, that is what happens. And as you can see, look at that. Doesn't that look pretty cool? While I was playing around with this, Ripley seen the laser and got really excited for it. So here's some footage of Ripley playing around being silly. A good thing with these barcode scanners is it provides much fun for Ripley. See, now she doesn't know where it is. Oh, now she knows. She likes lasers. I think all cats like lasers. So I will definitely take a look at that during the teardown, but I can tell you as well, it's super fast. I don't need to say more. It's a barcode scanner, of course it works. But keep in mind, I've only paid $5 for this thing, okay? Swapping to the back of the unit, at the top we have the model as PDA HG0 plus XC. Then we have the IMEI just there as well. Feel free to look that up and tell me what that corresponds with. Should correspond with this unit. Then we have this module here, which is removable, but this is used for the pistol grip as well as the RFID, I believe. The pistol grip just communicates with these little pins, and they have the little pins on them too. That just connects in and it all screws into the back casing. We've got the loudspeaker area. We have the 8 megapixel camera as well as the LED flash, and then on the back is this inconspicuous area where a custom logo would go. So if you ordered 300 of these, that's a lot of money. Then you could have your own custom logo there, which would be really cool. I could honestly just print out something and then stick it there myself. But anywho, and then you have just some more screws there for the grip, and that's about it. So if you then slide this open and pop this out, there is NFC as well. There is the NFC pad right on the back of the battery with grooves in the back for the waterproofing that goes around the battery. And here is the battery. The front is Chinese and it is 3,800 milliamp hours. It's slightly swelling, only slightly. It's supposed to be like this because all the other units are exactly the same and they all hold charge perfectly fine. So I've got no idea it works, so I'm not going to question it. Then if we flip it over, we have polymer battery with the specifications and warnings. Do not bang it. Do not open by yourself. Do not heat it up and put it near to fire sources. Possible explosive in fire. The rechargeable environment temperature is 0 to 40 degrees. Hazard. Recycle. Don't bin it. Well, I already binned one of the batteries because it was definitely swollen. And then the contacts are just there like that. Don't bang it. Try not to bang it. And then underneath the battery is a slot for a micro SIM and a micro SD card. And there's the IMEI there once again. So what I'm going to do at this stage, everything is loaded on this, ready to go. But I want to show you setting up one. So we come back to this one, the one that I've dropped and thrown around and stuff. And we just go ahead and stick that in there like so. Now I can power this on, show you setup and the default applications. So here we go. And there's a little Android bloke in water splashing around. System files are in the description. I'm moving them all to the Internet Archive. I'm probably going to keep them up on Mega for now, but most of them will be migrated over to the Internet Archive since it's a preservation thing. There's no limit there as well. I know there's slow speeds and stuff, but it's a preservation thing, so yeah, it's fine. And there we go. Boots up. Android. And let me just say the glass that's on this is super thick. You can see how thick it is because the screen is embedded right in there. But otherwise, it tells me to insert a SIM card, but we don't worry about that. So skip SIM cards, skip Wi-Fi for now. Yep, that's fine. Adjust the time and date. Screen locks, you can do pattern, pin and password. So no fingerprint, nothing like that. So just skip Google stuff. Don't worry about that. And we're in. Now there is something that has popped up on my actual testing unit is that there's 3 launchers. There is Trebuchet, Launcher 2, and Google Now Launcher. I'll see if that comes up again when I test the other one. If I go into applications, the default applications are barcode scanner, browser, calculator, calendar, camera, clock, compass, contacts, downloads, email, file manager, flashlight, FM radio, gallery, Gmail, Google settings, messaging, music, phone, Play Store, portable hotspot, settings, sound recorder, stopwatch, videos, and world clock, which is basically stock, and I won't need to test many of these. I'll open up a couple of them, of course. But the reason why I'm showing you this completely stock is because I've installed apps already onto the main one that I'm showing you, and it just might be a little bit confusing, that's all. Well, since there's not much else that I want to show you while it's completely stock, I can power this off and put the battery back into that one, and we can continue on. This review is going to go for a very long time, I can tell you that. Quite silly of me, but the unit that I've used for testing for this whole video has dust on the screen. So I hope that's not going to be too distracting through this review, but here we are. We've booted up. We've got 4G. There we go. Now see how the launcher is different, because I'm using launcher 2. So the one that you just seen, I think, was Trebuchet on the other one. It has come up a few times, so we'll see if it comes up again. As you can see, I've installed a bunch of games, spec apps, went onto the Play Store, got YouTube and Chrome and all that sort of stuff, so we're all good to go there. So by default, all the yellow keys are assigned to scanning. So that scans, and that also scans. While using this as well, I've noticed that if I just touch lightly on the screen, sometimes it doesn't work. I've got to give it a bit of a firm push. It's just due to how thick that glass is. Like, I don't know if you can see that gap in between there, but it is thick. I'm kind of tempted to hit it with a hammer at the end of this video. We'll see how we go. I'm at 100% battery life. I've been at 100% battery life for the 12 hours that I left this on my desk for, so battery-wise in this is good, plus your extra 5,000 in there. Pretty impressive for this device so far. So at the moment, function 1, function 2, and backspace don't do anything currently, but OK, and the rest of the buttons are all automatically for launching Google, and then you can start typing, which we have a slight problem with typing. I have not been able to work out as of yet because I haven't gone into settings. I'm not too sure how to switch this to text mode. I've tried holding that to change it. That doesn't work. That clears it all, so that works. Function 2 doesn't do anything. Function 1 doesn't change it. Holding it just does that. So I'll definitely have to check through settings and see if I can change it. Volume buttons at the loudest. So swiping down, I'm already connected to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G Telstra, airplane mode, auto rotate, location, cast screen, and LAN. And then we have PPPoE, which is Ethernet, which obviously don't have the Ethernet adapter, but it's pretty cool that you can connect this up to Ethernet. I know that LAN functionality has been built into Android for quite a while, but just having it out of the box would have been really cool. But that's all that's in shortcuts. If I touch and hold on the main screen, it wants me to choose a wallpaper from Google Now Launcher, Gallery, Live Wallpapers, and Wallpapers. Let's take a look at the wallpapers and see if they're all stock. Yes, there we go. We have the Snapdragon one, which was on one of the previous phones I've taken a look at. But if I go to Google Now Launcher, I can now pick some good old pixel ones. Let's pick this one. Now, going up close to the display, 480 by 800. The colors are pretty washed out. It's not a high resolution display, so I can't expect too much from this. But for what it does, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be a 1080p display on this thing, considering where it's going to be used for. So the display is quite acceptable on this. All right, so at this point, I think we should go straight into settings then. Wi-Fi is only 2.4 gigahertz. Bluetooth, we've got settings for the Ethernet there as well. Sorry about the jump cut there. I just had a possum running around on my roof, and Ripley was like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I went outside and shined the torch on it and it ran. That's just a typical night in Australia. Continuing on, we have the Ethernet settings, data usage, and more. So we have NFC. I'll just demonstrate it working. There you go. Works straight away. So there you go, NFC does work. And then going into cellular networks, we have enhanced 4G LTE mode. So I'm pretty sure that means VoLTE. There's a CDMA subscription. And in preferred network type, you also have all of these options, which have been on those cheapo Snapdragon devices that I've reviewed. I'm going to put it to that mode because that's all of them. I'll quickly give this a call. I've already done the call quality test, but I've already forgotten the default ringtone. Fluty phone, pretty loud earpiece. Same as the mic. Mic's pretty good too. Yeah, from my initial test, I was very impressed. It is a little bit crackly in the earpiece, but just have a listen for yourself. Testing the earpiece quality on the Senter PDA thing, this is what it sounds like, and during my quick little test, it didn't sound the best. There's some sort of like crackling going on, but
You know what? For a device like this to be able to make phone calls and do whatever it can do at this point in time, you don't quite know all of the features about this thing, but honestly, it's pretty good for what it is. So that's the earpiece quality. Let's go to the microphone.
And the microphone quality on the Senter PDA sounds a little something like this. Now, I'm kind of holding the device with the grip on it, so it's kind of a little strange. My arm's kind of twisted to have it up to the side of my face to do the whole call quality test. But you know what? The microphone doesn't sound too bad at all, and you'll hear this during the camera test. Yeah, all up for this. Not too bad. Can I actually barcode scan while I'm on a call? I cannot. Yes, I can. I can.
And there you go, that's the quality of calls on this thing, which is very acceptable for a pretty rugged device like this. I'd be more than happy to have this thing kind of shoved into my pocket and answer phone calls with it. I could use this for stock and inventory because the battery lasts ages and it has a barcode scanner, and it could just go to town on it. It'd be so easy to do. I actually might do that. It's a good idea. Then in mobile plan, Telstra has no known provisioning website. I was going to say eSIM, but no, we're on a very old version of Android to be able to do that. And I'm also very limited in what I can do to test this device because I'm on 5.1. There's no further updates for this device. It is stuck on 5.1, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So in buttons, the end call is end call. Fair. So the home button, you can long press and double tap to activate stuff. So I assume it's talking about the capacitive key. So if I just go long press action, voice search. Yep, there you go. Search assistant. There you go. Yep. Now something that was a little iffy during testing is that when I'm scrolling through this device, I'll actually just go like that, and it'll do that. The capacitive buttons are just a little bit too close to the screen. That has happened to me so many times during testing, but I've gotten used to it. Status bar is just show battery percentage. Display, we have brightness level. Yeah, within Wallpapers, I've already showed you them, the Pixel ones and the default Google ones. We've got the gyroscope, sensor adjust, cast screen, and blur effect. Basically the Windows era of Android. God, I miss those days. Sounds of notification, basically all up to the max. Fluty phone for the ringtone. Other sounds is just all of those. There's no sound enhancements because it's not MediaTek. It's a Snapdragon. Storage is 16 gigabytes for the internal storage, 64 gig for my spooky micro SD card. Battery, it's at 100% still. This is rock solid. And especially when you attach this, even more rock solid. Next up is apps. So I'll just scroll through this real quickly. I'll open up QuickShortcutMaker and we can go through these, but I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be anything, apart from a couple of factory things, which is from Qualcomm, and probably just from the manufacturer of this device. Otherwise, it should be all just standard stuff on here, most likely. Hand biometric. Okay, that might be something to investigate. Yeah, I've put an S emulator on. Can't wait to show you that. Root PA. I wonder if this has got root access. I didn't actually check. Lollipop for the system UI. Trebuchet. There it is there. Which I thought Trebuchet was actually an application that needed root access, but I could be wrong there. Trusted Face. And that's basically it. So that's all the default apps. And once again, go through the system files if you want to have a look through them. Then we have system profiles, which we have automobile, default, and silent. So if you go to automobile, that means that Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and NFC can be triggered on or off or whatever. If it's going to be used while driving, you can configure this to have certain actions on or off if you need to, which is quite good. It's like user profiles, but better. You can control basically everything from this. Location we can skip, but security, we've got screen lock as just swipe, pattern, pin, password. Already been over that. Device admins, all that good stuff within security, don't need to check that. Accounts, I've already signed to my Google, so we're all good. Language and input though, no. Choose keyboards. You might actually need to install another keyboard in order for that to work, but why doesn't it work? That's weird. It should work. I honestly don't know how to change this to work as T9. Also, there is no keypad lights, I've just realized. And the microphone on this is right smack bang in the center of the star and 7 key, just right there. Accessibility, we don't have any services installed, but you could probably put TalkBack on here and use that. But like with the Sunmi V2, these are going to be used in an environment where accessibility is not going to be its prime objective. Printing, well, if I had a printer, then I could have printed, but I don't. Developer options, I'll just put the window animations down actually, but I can say so far the performance on this while just testing, not bad. I mean, 2 gigs of RAM and Snapdragon 410 is nothing to be excited about, but more than capable for something like this. Finally, in About Phone, we have System Update, which unfortunately I'm up to date and there's not a thing I can do about it. In status, we have a unique serial number. I should check the other ones and see if they're the same. The model number is PDA. It's that PDA and not that PDA. The processor, Qualcomm Technologies MSM 8916, Android version 5.1.1. Let's go to the Easter egg and fail straight away. All right, let's see if we can get 2 points. Nope. 1. F2. Okay. We have the baseband version, kernel version, and the build number just there. The kernel was built by John at John Dell Precision M3800, which looks like this. That's what a Dell Precision M3800 looks like. I probably recognize it from somewhere. And that's all that's in settings. We finally dropped 1% for the battery life. So with most of these industrial devices, they're not meant to be used as normal Android devices per se. It's meant for just inventory, and obviously with this one, making phone calls, making it a little bit easier with whatever job you're in. Being able to make phone calls is a big bonus instead of relying on the remote control sort of stuff. So now's the time where we push all that aside and go, let's test this as a normal standard Android device that happens to be a rugged chonk. So with Barcode Scan Helper, which is part of that, the scan key is scan, or you can change it to F1 and F2, but that's probably the only use of F1 and F2 that I've seen so far. Okay, it vibrates when you scan it. We have continuous scan, and then we have that, whatever that is. Look, the barcode scanner is nothing too spectacular. Once you have an application that can actually use it, then it will be perfectly fine. Which reminds me, this is the stock and inventory app that I use on my device to keep track of all my phones and all that sort of thing. Very, very, very good application, completely free, no ads or anything like that. It is super, super good. Highly recommend it. I'm just going to quickly see, because since we're talking about barcode scanners, I just want to quickly show you how it works. So now if I just type in welcome gaming phone, which is kind of a bit awkward to type with it like that though, but now if I just do barcode, then done. Simple, easy. And then I can just okay that. I then have to type it into the description and then just use the camera app, take a photo of it, and that's it. That's how easy this app is. So highly recommend it. Not being sponsored by the makers of this, I just highly recommend this application if you want to keep track of all of your stuff. Or in a business setting, for example, and need to use an application for all your stock and stuff like that, use this. It is quite good. Continuing on, we have the browser, which I'm not going to test the browser. I'll use Chrome instead. Calculator looks like a standard Android 5.1.1 calculator. Calendar is Google Calendar, which will probably want me to sign in, most likely. Yes, it will. Now, I have Call of Duty on here as one of the games. I also have Grand Theft Auto 3 on here as well. But next up is the camera. Now, oh, I'm covering it. Sorry. There we go. Okay, how fast is the autofocus on this? Pretty damn fast. So this just looks like a very basic camera, doesn't it? I mean, there's not a lot of options. You do have HDR though. Once again, throwback to the Unihertz Luna not having HDR on the camera, but anywho. So that can be enabled. Then you also just have a bunch of filters if you want. Then you have actual scene mode, so HDR, portrait, landscape, sports. I tried a few of these and it didn't really change it too much, so just leave it as automatic. Just switch HDR on if you need to. In photo, if I go up to the settings cog, flash mode, the picture size, 8 megapixels, picture quality is super fine, and you can change the exposure, white balance, all that sort of stuff there as well. Let me show you video, which video also has autofocus. Doesn't have manual focus. If you touch the screen, it just takes a photo. Here is something that I did not expect. So apart from the filters that you can have, if I go to the settings cog, flash mode, video quality is 1080p, no limit to the video duration, all that sort of stuff. And what's this down here? Video high frame rate. You can do 60 FPS, 90 FPS, and 120 FPS with this thing. You heard me correct. You can. However, 60 FPS is 720p, 90 FPS is 480p, and 120 is also 480p. But it's the fact that you can actually get 60 FPS out of this thing is absolutely made me go, I'm sorry, but what? So I've done a very big camera test for you all using our Senter device. I'll splice in the photos and videos that I took with this device and enjoy what you're about to see. Testing video quality during the day on the Senter PDA thing, and it's very, very windy, so hopefully this microphone can cut out noise. I have done the night shots already, and they didn't actually turn out too bad. Well, the microphone was really good, know that. There is some sort of autofocus going on, but it is very minimal when it comes to video. But at least it works, and the best part is, I can't believe that this can actually film in 60 FPS. That is just bonkers to me. I just have to let autofocus do its thing. And obviously with holding this, because it's such a big device, you can easily hold it and it's pretty stabilized. So I'm walking around and it's pretty good. It's not too bad. And then going to the bolts and stuff. Stuart and Mick just chilling. Maggie there. Cato there. It is nice and smooth, and the sun just decides to come out right now. Thanks, sun. Lemon there, and Zenny, looking hidden. You can see him though, he's there, clearly. And then, look at the sky. Quite nice. And then Mr. Breeze Air, faraway aircon with a 6x digital zoom. You can see Breeze Air. Well, you could. There you go, you can see Breeze Air now. No, wait, up. It's fine, you can see it now, there we go. Oh god, the wind, okay. That's the video quality during the day with this. I'm quite surprised at how well it's kind of turned out. Maybe because I'm just happy with the whole 60 FPS thing. But anyways, regardless, let me keep showing you the footage and we'll continue on. Now this is 720p at HSR 60, which I'm trying to work out what HSR stands for. High speed rate, I'm not too sure, but that's what this looks like. There we go, just give you a bit of a pan and stuff. The 120 doesn't seem to work in anything lower than like 320 by 240, which is a bit unfortunate. But at least it has the option to record in 120 FPS. Come on, autofocus, you can do it, buddy. You can do it. I gave you the chance. But the detail looks, you know, fairly good as well. I hope this microphone can cut out the wind though. That's my main issue. Anyways, that's HSR 60. Let me try in other modes. This is HSR 90 at 480p. I mean, it doesn't look like it's super smooth on the display, but it should be super smooth reviewing the footage back like it was earlier. So it should be fine. So I'll just do the whole walk to the aircon. No, I'm not walking to the aircon. Walking to the lemon. What am I talking about? I'm sleep deprived. Help me. There we go. There it is. Autofocus. Nope, doesn't want to do it. And there we go. Look at the sky. Nice and beautiful. Cool. All right. Well, that's this mode. Let me try and see if I can get 120 FPS going. This is 120 FPS in VGA. I mean, it defeats the whole point of high frame rates when it's at VGA resolution. But at least it does it. That's a good thing. With a device like this that can actually do 60 FPS, I don't complain. I just don't. And for the price I paid for each of these units as well, I just don't know. I'm not going to complain. It's fine. Beautiful. Not a problem. I still don't know the difference between high frame rate and high HSR, high super rate. I don't know. There's also little lemons that I've seen. Yeah, little lemons. Look how gorgeous they are. Not that you can see them because it's not autofocusing, but still, they're kind of cool. 120 FPS on a cheapo device. Well, VGA. But still, the whole 60 FPS at 720p is still impressive to me. Anyways, let's keep moving on.
There's Ripley. Hi. If you like this device, flop. No. Yeah, oh, you can boop it. That's fine. If you want to boop it. Yep, booped. Okay, that's a definite boop. It's not quite a like. It's a boop. Yeah. Whoa, look at you, you big monster. Whoa.
Okay, testing nighttime video with the Senter PDA. This LED is bright. It is really bright. I don't think we have any focus going on though. Oh, yeah, I know we do. We do. It's just that the LED is too bright for this and I can't really handle it. It lights up. Also, there's a car beeping. Okay. Yeah, it lights up really well. Decent LED on this thing. I mean, it's industrial, so, you know, it has to be decent enough. You can almost see the lemon tree from here. Obviously, I have to go up a little bit closer, but like, Cato and stuff. Lemon tree. Lemon looking shiny. There you go, a little better. And then Zenny looking a little something like this. So not bad. Nighttime wise, not bad at all. You've just seen the photos and videos that I took with the Senter device. What do you think of them? I honestly think they're very, very good. Video quality is a little lacking. The photos can be a little bit hit and miss, but altogether, not too bad in this thing. There's 60 FPS.
HSR 90 at 480p.
90 FPS at 480p. Obviously, I'm not going to render this video at 120 FPS. I'll render it at 60 FPS, so you get a good idea of how it looks. But I did try open camera to try and push a higher resolution with 60 FPS, but unfortunately, it caps out at 480p. Probably just a limitation with the camera. So like, if we go to a shot of Zenny, for example, this is my true test for detail. It captures it pretty good. I can see all the little details in the screws and the bits and bobs and bolts and stuff and spark plugs and stuff. I'm not going to say this is one of the best cameras I've come across on a cheapo device for a while, only because this isn't a cheapo device, but for what I paid for it, it is pretty good for what it is. As I said, a little bit hit and miss with some things, but like there's the lemon and the detail there as well. Like I was just a little bit persistent with some photos because some turned out not in focus and stuff, but for the most part, they all look really good, and HDR does improve the color and all that sort of stuff ever so slightly. The only small drawback with the camera, which is not the camera's fault, it's the microphone, and it was really, really windy outside, and unfortunately it picked up a lot of that wind during the video test. But everything else for the camera, absolutely outstanding effort to you, Senter PDA. Let's try Chrome. Let's just load up an Alibaba page. There you go. Nice and fast. Yeah, Senter has a whole bunch of other different PDA devices. Ding data. So yeah, Senter still makes PDA devices with Android 10. I believe Android 11 and 12 I've seen as well. $348 though. If this is the quality that you get from one running Android 5.1.1, then the quality you get from something that's a lot newer, I think you'd be pretty good. Even though it's 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage, maybe they just upgrade the OS and that's it. But it's just, I've never heard of the brand Senter before, but yep, they exist. Look at that, you can even attach one to your wrist. That's so cool. Browsing on this, perfectly fine. You've got a 4-inch display. It's not going to be super helpful for, you know, actually properly browsing the web, but just a quick little Google search if you're out and about and you need to quickly Google how much something is on AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever. More than capable enough to do that. And you've got enough battery life. If you wanted to chuck Instagram or whatever social media thing you use, you could just go ahead and browse it, or attach this to it, get your extra 5,000 milliamp hours, have 8,800 milliamp hours right here. Just hold it like this and just be like, yep, It's no surprise that Chrome is obviously going to work, but I just wanted to demonstrate that it will be fine on this. Clock we don't need to go into. Compass is going to be compass. Also, what did it say? Set as azimuth. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, I'm not compass illiterate. Contacts, device info hardware, downloads, email, file manager. Yeah, the default file manager on this is weird. It's not Google File Manager. There we go. This file manager is by Cyanogen Mod Team. I have a feeling we should check to see if this is rooted. Sorry, I just checked to see if I had root access. I don't have root access, but obviously what this is a custom ROM, because yeah, Trebuchet and the whole Cyanogen mod thing, there's a custom ROM that they've put on this, which is fine, I guess, but why not just put stock Android on this? Flashlight, operating manual. Click the switch button, open the flash. Yes. Oh, I gotta swipe. Sliding left and right, change the screen color. Up and down, change screen brightness. Oh, remain energy. That's for this one. All right. No, we want an external flash, which I completely forgot to show you because this shortcut is not on Android 5.1. The LED is super bright, as you can see, and it definitely did help during the nighttime shots. Also using the light there, as you can see it scanning along. Okay, if I had all of my units set up in a row doing strobe LEDs, then I could have a rave party for sure. Moving on to FM radio, we need some headphones. Let's see what's on Australian radio on a Wednesday night at 11:56 p.m. It works perfectly fine. If you wanted to have FM radio going on this while you're on the job, then you absolutely could. Gallery, which is just all the photos that I've taken with this device that I've already went through. But let me just go back to a shot of Stuart and Mick and just, it's good. Good quality. Google settings, GTA 3, messaging, music, speaker test time. Let's see how the speaker quality is from the Senter PDA. It's not too loud, but it's pretty clear for what it is. I did feel it was slightly muffled, but ever so slightly. But that's for BFG Division. When I play the Costa Rica test in YouTube, I'll crank the volume up and we'll see how it sounds during that. It's not too bad. I'll give it a pass. NES emulator, come back to. Open camera. As I've already said, I tried open camera several times to see if I could get 60 FPS on 1080p, but unfortunately I couldn't. Phone, Play Store, which I've already been into and downloaded everything. Portable hotspot, which is portable hotspot in settings. It's just a shortcut to it. QuickShortcutMaker, root checker basic, settings, sound recorder, stock and inventory, stopwatch, and the rest of the apps are all stuff I don't really need to test. Videos, voice search, world clock. I guess we'll do the YouTube test. I don't think we can do 1080. Oh, we can do 1080p. I was going to say, I don't think we can do 1080p, but nope, we can do 1080p. Here it is on this display. 1080p. It's definitely not 1080p. Now it's 1080p. Nice. As I said, display quality is not the best on this, but YouTube, 1080p, 60 FPS, not a problem on this. And see, it sounds really good now. It's just BFG Division being a very, well, noisy track and stuff. Not quite ideal for speaker tests, I kind of know that in hindsight by now, but it's just tradition. And with its native resolution of 480p, most YouTube videos will load in 480p anyways, so... And I'm fairly sure that if you're on the job with one of these, you probably won't have enough time to open up YouTube and watch a full video, unless you're on a lunch break with one of these things and dicking around on it, which is quite possible. When I powered these units up straight from ewaste, they didn't have any management software on them whatsoever. So, likely, wherever this was being used, they had full access to everything anyways, so... It's not like the Sunmi V2 that was so locked down, and like the next one you'll be seeing, the Zebra barcode scanner that a lot of people have seen, that was also locked down as well, and I'll explain the story in that video. But yeah, for this one, wasn't locked down, didn't have to do anything, so all good in that department. So what I think I should do now is double check the specs real quickly, just make sure we're all good with everything. So Senter PDA, 800 by 400, 5.1.1, all the sensors there, NFC, 2 gig, 16 gig, all correct, Snapdragon 410 quad core with the Adreno 306 GPU. Okay, so the manufacturer is Senter, the model is PDA, and the brand is Android. Fair. I'll do the multi-touch test, which I'm pretty sure was 10 point. No, it's 5 point. Do you really need 10 point multi-touch on this display? 2 gig, 16 gig there, camera, 8 megapixel. And another reason why I put open camera on this was to see if I could trigger this camera to actually work and take photos with, but unfortunately it doesn't. It says serious camera error in open camera, so I gave up on that. But if you have an idea of how I might be able to trigger that camera to take photos, let me know. Battery, we're at 90% now, which it's still held up quite a lot better than a lot of devices that I've looked at before. The kernel profile is 8,000 mAh due to big chonko pistol grip. Thermal, we're at about 44 degrees roughly, and because it's such a big unit, from me holding this during the review, that's probably what's just warming up the back. I don't think you'll feel this heating up anytime soon. Sensors, accelerometer, magnetometer, gyroscope, and that's it. Oh, we don't have a light sensor, but we do have a light sensor because there's one clearly there. It does work. Okay, sure thing. Check CPU system info real quickly, just to double check everything. I tried to put Geekbench 5 on this, but unfortunately that was unable to install, and I don't want to try Geekbench 4 because for majority of my devices I've tested Geekbench 5 on anyways. Everything is all correct within here. It's got a bunch of sensors though. Look at that. Nicely done. Camera, 7.5 megapixels, and the one in the barcode scanning area is 0.47 megapixels, 800 by 600. Still would have been cool to at least have tested that though, but when we tear it down, I'll get to show you it. I think at this point, we should now get an idea of performance on this. As I've already stated, just using this normally, perfectly fine, will do the job. But how about some gaming on this? I'm going to start with the NES emulator, because we have buttons. So I have mapped the buttons out, and I don't remember what they are, but I've got Super Mario Brothers on here, which is already... Ah, hello! See? The speaker is loud. It just depends what I need to play. I believe that's start, yep. Okay, so how I've done it is that's to jump. 7, 0, 5, and 9 are to control Mario. And I set the volume up button to be run. But it works. Not that you could see most of the screen because of how stupid the button layout is, but you could basically have it like this and have the keys mapped like that. Okay, so I've just now changed the buttons to be a little bit more user-friendly? Okay, that's not user-friendly at all. Alright, here we go. Alright, he's running. He's kind of running. This is a little uncomfortable, but It's playable. I'd probably rather it in landscape, to be honest, because at least the buttons are kind of reachable, kind of. But yes, if you did have the pistol grip in... Yep, that's a thing. Thought I may as well try an emulator because of the buttons, and I'm glad I did. Honestly, I could actually see myself playing like Pokemon Gold on this. That would work quite well. Even Game Boy Advance might be possible on this. If you stuff around with the button config, you could definitely do that. I'm going to now try Grand Theft Auto 3 because we've seen this run on so many devices before, and it should run perfectly fine on this. Alright, display, we'll put everything up to the maximum, and we'll start game. Here we go. Now, gaming is definitely something that you're not meant to do on the job. Good if you wanted to, though. Benchy! Will the buttons work? They should do. Oh, I realise I can just scan while I'm playing this. A little bit chuggy. Actually, no, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay, get in the car, Claude. Yep, there we go. Alright. Whoop, there we go. Aha! Nice. Button controls with touch controls. Oh, that's not the handbrake. That's not the brake. Where's the brake button? Nope, that's to get out of the car. Oh, okay. 1 and 3. Yep, I found the handbrake button. Okay, let's do the speed test. It's fairly smooth. How did I get myself in this situation? And how do I get myself out of it? Yeah, boy! It might be just me, but it feels like pressing a button and pressing the touchscreen at the same time don't seem to work. You just gotta press one or the other. Actually, no, it's okay. It's alright. Oh! I forgot handbrake. Yep, handbrake works. I flipped it. Okay, my job's done. I flipped it. If San Andreas would have worked on this, I would have showed it off, but unfortunately it just doesn't work, so not a lot I could do. But the last thing for gaming is Call of Duty, which I have not tried in a long time, and supposedly they're up to Season 4, which means, I don't know, they're keeping it going for a long while. At this point in time, Call of Duty is taking so long. It is only downloading 219 megabytes, but it is super, super slow. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the teardown. I'll fix this during editing, so don't worry. Call of Duty is finally done. Hooray. Oh, it's super smooth. Okay. Yep. Pick that up. The graphics are set to low at the moment, but I'll bump them up. Okay, so the maximum graphics I can do, by the looks of it, is just low for the graphic quality and frame rate being medium. But, you know what? Who's my enemy? Yep. Okay. The touchscreen controls are a little iffy.
Tied for the lead.
But, yeah, you could play Call of Duty on this.
We've taken the lead.
Do the buttons do anything? The buttons don't do anything. Okay. But this is a fairly basic map, but yeah, for the most part.
Enemy contact.
It's good. I waited like 45 minutes for Call of Duty to load. But,
Targets in sight. Tango down.
not bad. I did look up Ark and Genshin, but I couldn't get too far with them, obviously. I kind of ran out of ideas for games, so that's why I went with putting an emulator on, just to make it a little more interesting. Also, the battery life has drained quite a lot because I left it running Call of Duty to the side while I was doing the teardown, because I've already done the teardown. But that's kind of to be expected with gaming, I suppose, because it was just on the tutorial, just on gameplay for 45 minutes or so. But once again, let's not look at this as a gaming device. It's a business-orientated device that we are playing games on. Does that make sense? Probably not. Let's finally check QuickShortcutMaker and see if there's anything we can open up and have a play around with. So I know a lot of these are going to be Qualcomm stuff, but I'll just see if there's anything that might be worth opening. Eng test, master clear. Don't want to open up something that says master clear. Okay, there you go. A config file for that. Okay, so yep, this is testing, which I knew there was going to be some testing applications on here, but yep, that's fair. Hisense is on here. I have heard of Hisense. 3D gesture test. not support. Okay. Could Hisense be the manufacturer of Senter? I wonder. Factory test mode, radio info, phone name. Can I change the phone name to something else? No, I can't. Soft version, hardware version, doesn't do anything. Thought I could have, customized it. File manager, yep, Cyanogen mod. Amazing, yep. Hisense, it seems to be a Hisense device. Google Play Services, hand biometric, hand unlock test. Enrollment, lock screen. Okay, setup info. Okay, hand biometric. Okay, it seems to just be a Qualcomm thing that obviously I can't do much with. Yep, Trebuchet. It's got Cyanogen mod on it. Don't know what version or anything. I'm not too familiar with that stuff, but it's definitely got something like that on here. You have the system files to look through anyways, so have fun looking through all of that. With all of that done, I have tested gaming. Tested the speed quality, call quality, browser test, YouTube test. I think I've done everything that I've needed to do with this device, and I think I've showcased all of its features. And let me just say, for $5, including this, absolute winner, bargain of the century right here. However, if you were to pay 200 odd US dollars for it now, for a barcode scanner, there's likely better ones out there. But the build of this is amazing. Which reminds me, do you want to see me drop this a few times? Here, I'll splice it in. It's time to do the drop test on the Senter PDA thing. So it all still works at this current point in time. I'm doing the drop test first before I do anything else because reasons. So this all still works. Yep, correct. So let's put your scanning stuff in a business and you drop it and see what happens. If the thing just goes or if it survives. So, all right, let's just scanning. Oopsie. Jesus, that was hectic. It's fine. Okay. Yep, still works. Let's say you're scanning stuff and you just happen to slip it. Whoops, uh-oh. Still fine. Let's say you're reaching up super high and you're scanning stuff and all of a sudden the ladder falls and oh no! Jesus. Still fine. Still works. Okay, one more for good measure. Whee! Nope. It's fine. I would drown this in water, but honestly, I believe that it would survive. So you know what? This passes the durability test. Well done, friend. Seems to be bulletproof. And I threw that down too, and it survived. It was like, yep, that's fine. None of the glass broke or anything like that. So well done to you, Senter, for being a very well-built unit, as you'll see during the teardown as well. Nowadays, getting one of these for a business or something like that, most likely your business has the Zebra barcode scanners, which I'll be taking a look at in the next one. So a lot of businesses use them because they're just super reliable and they work with everything. These, on the other hand, are just a bit outdated with the OS and stuff. A couple of things here and there that just make it not so good as a brand new device, but for a $5 device that I picked up from ewaste and that I have more on the floor to do whatever I want with is more than enough to say I am very satisfied with my purchase, that's for sure. If you do happen to stumble across, these cheap or something like that somewhere, like maybe on eBay or something like that, I'd say pick one up to play around with it. But retail price, nah, I wouldn't get one retail. This is a Hisense Senter thing. It's still a thing, but at least I know it's Hisense. Well, I'm assuming anyways. But that's it. That's my very rambly conclusion on this thing. So let's power this thing off and we will tear this thing down. Let's take apart the grip and see what's inside of it. Well, obviously a battery and a button, I would say, but prove me wrong. I gotta say, these units did really pass my expectations. I was not expecting too much from these, but they did well. Oh, hello. I guess we take this part off too. Pop you off. Okay, the circuitry, you have the PCB for communication, and that is wired into another PCB that is the main PCB with the clicky switch. That is certainly a clicky switch. And then we have the big old battery just loaded in there, and sure enough, it's 5,400 milliamp hours. This has 9,200 milliamp hours of battery capacity if you connect this and use that. Holy moly, that is amazing right there. And this is 2 cells stacked on one another. I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to open it up. Oh, hello, the button fell out. I've determined that it is not safe taking this apart, but I would say it is two big batteries in there. That's what it looks like to me anyways. Can't say yes or no to that, but I was gonna pull it apart because science, but I'm not gonna do that because I just feel that it is not safe. So that's the grip. So now let's take apart the one that I've dropped and didn't submerge in water, but I assume that it will be fine. By the looks of it, it's just 6 screws and it pulls apart. Another thing as well, a lot of companies say to me, hey, would you like to review rugged devices? And while I wouldn't mind looking at some rugged devices, you know, the fact that I have to durability test them, I don't have to do a durability test on them, but I do it to give you an idea of, you know, if it's solid or not. Tearing them down, I usually have to take off the screen anyways. Some of them are like this design where you can just unscrew the back and off it comes, and some are screen first, which is instant death for it. But we are in. There's the branding. Senter. Oh, I'm glad to see you, buddy. So there's the little pins there communicating with there to then communicate with the main board. The loudspeaker is just there, which looks like an earpiece actually that they've kind of just put there, but hey, it works. I'm not going to question it. This is some impressive hardware. All right, well, let's take more screws out then. By the way, it definitely does have the gasket going around it as well to help keep water out of this device. That's pretty much sealed tight. I should have tested it, but I think it'd be fine. This piece of plastic just sort of, there we go. Okay, and that is the coin style vibration motor, LED flash and camera all attached to this little flex ribbon and the little speaker area as well. So grabbing the camera out, our 8 megapixel little fella. There we go, there's a code right there. If you want to Google that. I believe that is a perfectly good 8 megapixel camera right there. No optical image stabilization, but I think EIS was there. So I'll just put the parts with the rest of the parts. So there was a whole bunch of tape holding these flex ribbons down. So I've taken all the tape off. So I'll now unclip these flex connectors for all the buttons. With all of these screws removed, I think I can pretty much just pull this out. Okay. Let's take a look at the motherboard first. So we have the barrel jack down the bottom there with the pogo pins. Then we have the battery connectors, the IMEI, another serial number just there, all the flex ribbons and all the connectors and everything like that. What are these things, by the way? These doohickeys here, they've got a little code on them, so I wonder what they do. But then flipping it over, wow, okay, so this is very strange. I guess we're taking the shielding off then. This looks like, to put it nicely, a clusterfuck, but it is the ST908, which is what it came up as. We've got some chips down there as well, the print thing. So it's like they've got a motherboard from a phone, stuck it on there and called it that. There's also a thermal pad right there too, because there's a thick housing that I've got to take out as well to get. Okay, I don't know to say if this is janky or if it's smart. I can't quite tell if I want to call it janky or not. The fact that there is a flex ribbon connecting this to that as well is kind of like, what? This thing is just full of surprises, I'll tell you that. And taking off the first bit of shielding reveals the Qualcomm MSM 8916. So that is correct, but that definitely looks like a board that may be part of a phone or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's just the little thermal pad that just goes over there. Nothing too spectacular. That's the wrong way. So I'll pop that back down. See, why can't all shielding be like this? It would make my job so much easier, but it isn't. And underneath that bit of shielding, nothing really much to note. Probably some power ICs and stuff just in there. So that is all good. I'm fairly sure there are people out there that are a lot smarter than me. So if you want to go ahead and explain how this potentially works, then feel free. I'd love to hear about how this all works. This is just was not expecting that. This metal frame that they've put in here is so heavy, but I'll get to that in a second because we want to take a look at the scanner. This is our scanner. So we've got our laser, the camera, and the flash, and it's just several layers of it there. That is just frankly quite amazing. There's like flex ribbons that go in between them as well. Like there you go. You can see right through it how there's all the flex ribbons going together. But yeah, it'd be really funny if I could get that little camera to work just in normal settings, just to see how it is. Probably just a black and white sensor most likely. But yeah, that's the little thing. It's so cute. I'm also going to let everyone know now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. But I'm going to say that I had a lot of fun with this review. I really did have fun. I just now have to work out why that doesn't go back on. What are these things, man? Oh, they're antennas. That's all they are. They're little antenna bits. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking they were. I was thinking they're some sort of doohickeys for, you know, enabling black holes or something. Could be. You never know. Well, that's all of the motherboard. If you want to take a good look at that right here, I'll just leave it on screen for a little bit if you want to pause and see everything. There you go, a little bit closer. There we go. That there, all the screw mounts and stuff, obviously. Just someone went to town there. They're just like, bop, 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 bop. Can't knock them for having fun there. And yeah, that's that. And we're still not done because we now have big chonk frame left. I just love how there's just multiple layers of this thing. This says, hello, I was made with effort. An effort you were made with, my friend. Who would throw perfectly good working barcode scanners out? Who does that? Here we go. I can just take this piece off and that reveals our LCD. I can also go ahead and clean dust off. They didn't say it's dust proof, did they? That metal frame, it's got some heft to it for sure. And there's the other thermal pad there too. By the way, I didn't even see that. So they've got two thermal pads. So yeah, we're left with basically the keyboard and the glass. That's some pretty thick glass. There's the earpiece there as well. There's also this little antenna, just the top there as well. I may as well pull out the keyboard. Why not? We're already at this point. Taking all the screws out for the keyboard reveals, ta-da! But I can lift that back and there's all the little pieces. And the microphone is just there. That's how that works. Yep, I'm pretty sure that is back together. So now this should just, yep, sits back together like a glove. Nice. All right, well, it's time to see if this still works with that amount of tape that I've pulled off. It should be fine. Yeah, it still works. I don't need to display the specs because we already know all the specs of this thing. But I just want to see that everything still functions on this one. Yep. Perfect. Does the volume work? Uh-oh. It's not making any sounds. The scanner still works. Yeah, the buttons still work. Alright, so I didn't kill the buttons. The camera still works. The LED flash still works. So maybe the speaker's just not making contact or something. I'll just quickly fix it. Maybe the speaker never worked on this unit. I actually don't recall this unit ever making sound. Oh, speaker works now. I'll fix that. One more test before I call this a review. I have the world's puniest hammer. I'm going to say that's fine. Granted, it's not a big boy hammer, but you know, does the job. That is looking at the Senter PDA thing that I picked up for $5 from ewaste. And I have 3 others sitting on the ground. But I'm definitely going to use one for inventory because I can use this at home for scanning, have my Gmail onto it, and have it syncing with Google Drive to have all the stock and stuff like that on there. And it would just be so helpful because using my camera as a normal barcode scanner just doesn't work half the time. And this would be just so much easier. So thank you to whoever dumped these at ewaste. You are a legend. Actually, I know your name because it popped up when I first booted these up. I'm sorry that your business went bust, but you have given me these things to stuff around with that you probably paid retail for. One man's trash is another man's treasure, as they say. But that is it, folks. That is looking at this device. I really hope you did enjoy this one. I definitely had a lot of fun with this video, I can tell you that. And I hope you can sort of see that during the review as well. If you've made it to the end of this video without using timestamps, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me ramble and waffle on about these cool barcode scanner things that I really do like, and I think I'll use them for more things. But if you had to use the timestamps to skip through, that is completely fine. That's why they're there. And also, once again, if you needed to use adblock or revanced or anything like that to skip past the many ads that get put into the videos when I take them out, then that is completely fine also. That's why the option is there for you. But anyways, folks, the next video I will be doing is taking a look at the Zebra barcode scanner, or the Zebra barcode scanner, which a lot of you folks recognize. And boy, do I have a story for that one. So stay tuned for that one. But until that video gets published, I now shall say farewell. And as I always tell everyone, to please take care, stay safe, and be good people. And I will see you all in the next video, which will be the Zebra barcode scanner. Until that one, feel free to let me know what you thought of this device down in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.